Hey there everyone, and welcome back to Cowboy Survival. I'm Richard, and what we're going to do in this video is take a look at this tent right here behind me. This is the Nite cat tent from Amazon. Now before we go any further, first, if you like this video today, please click that like button below. The algorithm really likes that. Second, we'd love to have you subscribe to the channel. And when you do, also click that notification bell so that when we issue new videos, you'll get a notification that video is available for you to watch. Now this tent, as I said, I got off of Amazon. I was looking for an inexpensive option for weekend camping trips or for my bug out bag. And I didn't want to spend an arm and a leg on it, so I bought this tent. It's $40. It will fit 1 to 2 people. I've laid down in it. There's plenty of length in it to lay down in this tent and sleep. It's really easy to set up. I like the color of it. It has a little rain fly with it. I don't know if it's much of a rain fly. If I was going camping, I would probably set this up and then I'd set my tarp up over it so I'd have like a covered area out here to sit under. But what we're going to do is we're going to take this tent, I'm going to pack it back up, then we're going to unpack it. I'm going to show you what comes with the tent. I'm going to show you how to set it up. We're going to walk through that process. Trust me, it's really easy and quick. And then we're going to talk about how we might use this tent in an emergency situation or in a backpacking situation. So, hang on. We're going to have a lot of fun with the Nite cat tent from Amazon. Okay, so let's take a look at what's inside the Nite cat tent bag. So it comes in this nice little drawstring bag, a nice drawstring here on it with a lock on it. It's got these tension straps on it with a little handle, and they're actually attached to the bag, so you're not going to lose them. So you can simply pull those up and pull those loose. Just pull up on the tab, and they loosen up right away. Then you open the bag and look at what's inside. Now, the first thing that's inside, of course, any of these things is going to be a set of instructions. I found those really less than helpful. It's got 4 little pictures. It says step 1, 2, 3, and 4, and doesn't give a lot of details. Okay, so we won't worry about the instructions. Now, you also comes with this a small bag with some tie downs and some stakes. It's the way they do this. It's got a little string on the outside. You tie a bow on it. Or a little overhand knot. I don't particularly like that. I'd rather have a drawstring bag. I think they could have provided that. But you get these little aluminum stakes. You know, they're kind of, I don't really like them too much. They spin. If they spin, then the loop comes off the end. I just don't like them. If they're not hard, they're not easy for driving in the ground. You know, they do not have a point on the end of them at all. So I will not be using these stakes. I'm going to be using instead, I've got these stakes I got off of Amazon, Fan BX, and what they are, it's a nice aluminum stake with a hexagon shape on it and a nice point on the end. So these will drive into the ground. These are next to useless, so we will just be discarding them, not using them at all. So I will keep this bag of stakes with my tent. Now, also in this, you've got 4 tie downs. And we'll actually demonstrate how to use these. They're little string tie downs like this. You tie them to different tie downs on the outside of the tent, and then stake them out and tighten them with your little tightening bracket here, or whatever you want to call it. The nice thing about this is that it helps to pull the walls of the tent out a little bit, gives you a little more space on the inside. So we will be using these. So that little bag comes with the tent. I probably won't be tying it up. I'll probably just stuffing stuff in there and whatever. You also are going to get a bag of tent poles. So there's 2 poles in here, and it has the same setup where it's got a strap around it, and you tie that down. Again, I don't particularly find that really useful. But these are the typical kinds of tent poles you see in these kind of tents, where they're folded up. They have a little sort of elasticized string in here, and you pull them out and then put them together, and they work pretty well. I would imagine over time these things will wear, these little elastic strings in there, but for now I think they're fine. I've never actually had any wear out on me, but maybe so. The tent comes in here, and the tent has also got a tie around it. It's this blue tie. I don't particularly care for it. I'm probably going to replace this with a Velcro tie, because this thing, it wasn't a bow, and now somehow the bow came out. If you tie a little bow in it, it's a lot easier to get undone. So I just have to undo this. And so it may take me a moment, so I may have to break the video here while I undo this. Okay, it wasn't quite as hard as I thought, but it wasn't in a knot. I don't particularly like this string. I'm not even sure it's necessary, but it does go around the tent. And so then you've got, that's the things you've got in this thing. You've got, and there's your tent, and that's actually what you're looking at is the bottom of the tent. So the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to start setting it up. So the first thing you probably want to do is actually prepare your campsite. I haven't done that. It's a little bit, got sticks all over here and acorns and things. I'm not going to even try to clear this out because we're just setting this up for demonstration. But normally you would clear the site out. This would not be a good site for camping because it's kind of hard. I'd want to find somewhere a little softer. So you just roll your tent out, and I kind of threw it too far away. So roll your tent out, and then you're going to unfold it. The tent fold, it's sort of a rectangular shape. Not hard to undo at all. And you got it in a rectangular shape. You're gonna have 4 corners. Each corner is gonna have a grommet in it. In addition, it's got a little loop where you can put a stake in if you wish. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my tent poles together. So I'll get those, I'll dump those out of my bag. And like I said, there's 2 of them. And they're pretty standard kind of tent poles. If you've ever put a tent together, you know how to work these things. They just extend out, they fold into each other, and just insert, and they end up making a nice long pole. And these are bendable, of course, which is sort of the whole point. So there's the first one, and then we'll do the second one. So we've got our poles put together. This is our rain fly, and we'll deal with that later. Now, in the very center of this tent, of the top of this tent, there is a tie. Now, this black piece here is your open vent at the top, and there's a tie right here. Now, what we want to do is take our 2 poles and cross them. Pretty easy. Just take the poles, we cross them in the center. We haven't put them in the grommets yet. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this and tie a little loop around it. I wish this was more of a loop that you would pass these things through instead of a tie down, but it is what it is. So I'll tie that. And I'm not going to tie it real tight because you want the poles to be able to slide just a little bit. Tie it too tight, the poles will not slide at all. And so now we can put these poles in our corners. So we'll take this pole, I'm going to take this little grommet, and I'm going to put the end of this pole right in this grommet. Now I'm going to go to the opposite end, and I'm actually going to go ahead, while I'm at this end, I'm going to go and put this pole in this grommet as well. Now I can go to this end. Now these poles bend. That's the way they're designed. So we just pull this up. It's going to stay in that down there in that hole. Now I'm going to put my knee on the corner of this because if you don't, this whole thing's liable to slide. So I just simply bend this up, and I'm going to put it right in that grommet hole right there. Now I'm going to walk this over to my other pole, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to walk this down. I'll pull this out, put this right in that grommet hole. So you can see the tent is starting to take shape. Now along each edge, which are double stitch seams, they have these little hooks, and you just take these hooks and hook them over the pole. They're just little bitty hooks, and they'll just hook right around those poles. There's 4 of them on each side of the tent. And that's going to make the tent start to take its shape. Now we'll adjust that center in a moment because it's not exactly in the center, but we'll adjust it. So we'll go around to this side and do the same thing. Then we'll get the other sides. Now that's bowing in the center because this is not in the center. That's why you want that to be able to slide a little bit. It's caught on the metal there, so I'll just pull it, and there we go. And I'll just hook these as well. Now at this point, you can start to straighten out your corners, and you can pull them out if you wish. You can actually move the tent if you wish. This may be the point at which you want to stake down your corners. The next thing I would do is I would attach the rain fly, and I'm going to show you how to do that next. So at this point, the tent is pretty much set up. We have to finish it, and there's a couple things we want to do. First of all, this is your rain fly, if you want to call it. It's not very big. If I had a complaint about this, it's that this thing's kind of small. It's already pre-attached down here, so it doesn't come apart, it doesn't come off. It's there sort of permanent. So I just take this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach these little hooks. And so it's got a hook here on each corner, and it's got a little bit of stretchy elastic. And down here at the second hook down from the top, there's a little piece of fabric, and you just reach that down and you just hook it through that. Very simple, and we're going to do it so also here on the back, and I'll do the one on the front corner. And pretty much that's your rain fly. Again, it's not a real big rain fly, but it will keep the rain off of this mesh that's at the top of your tent and allow air to continue to flow. So now let's go look on the inside of the tent. So as you can see, this tent is pretty good size. I'll show you, I can stretch out in this tent and sleep and have plenty of room so I can lay down, stretch out completely in the tent. It's got, the base is actually, I'm going to call it, I heard somebody else call it sort of a bathtub style, where the bottom actually comes up about, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches before it starts to meet the tent fabric. And that's really to provide you more moisture barrier, because this is going to be a little bit more moisture barrier than the tent itself. You can tell it's a different fabric. There's not, if you are 6 feet tall or more, this tent might be a little hard for you. I'm 5'9". This tent's about right for me. If you were much bigger, this tent would be a little short, I think. You'd have to sleep cockeyed in it in order to be able to stretch out. Now, also in this tent, and I'll show you in a picture, there's a hook up here at the top that you can hang something from, maybe a light, or you might want to hang a little bag with some stuff in it that you might need in the middle of the night. There's also a little bag down here at the end of this, and I'll show you a picture of that as well. It's not very useful. I don't know what I'd put in it. I'd probably just put my stuff out here. As you'll see when we undo the doors, these could be like, create a little vestibule out front, but not much of one. That's one thing they could have improved. Having a little better vestibule out in front of this tent, I think would have been nice. Other than that, for $40, I think it's a pretty good deal. I like the way it sleeps. I like the way it lies. I like the way it's easy to set up. So let's go look at how these doors work next. So you have an option of how you use these tie downs that come with these orange strings on them. One thing you could do is you could not use them at all and just let the tent stay there, and if there's no strong wind, if there's no strong breeze, it's going to be fine. If you think there's going to be a breeze or a wind, you'll want to stake down the corners, and you'll probably want to also stake down the sides. Now, that's what these stake down ties are for. If you're going to use the ties, you have to sort of use the corners as well, because otherwise the tent goes kind of weird. I'll also say one other thing about these. Both these side pieces here and these ties have got reflectors built into them. So if you're in the middle of the night, you're out in the dark, you're camping, and you're shining your light, you're going to see the tent. You'll see these little reflective strips on these clips, and you're also going to see the reflection that comes. It's just a reflective thread that runs all the way through this. So there's a little tie right here, and I'm just going to simply pass my string through that, my line. So I'll pass my line through there, and I'm going to tie a little, a little knot to, I like to use a couple of half hitches on this. Sort of what I do. I like half hitches, but that's just me. And then I'll tighten it down once I've done that. It tightens down real nice. Now, I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to run it down the line, and you pull out, so you got a knot on this end, and you want to use the loop that's right here, that's closest to the knot. So you just put your peg in there, and you'll stretch this out. And I may be out of screen, but that's okay. We're going to stretch this out, and just about to right here is fine. Now once you've done that, you can move this thing up. You just simply pull on this, get some slack, and that thing will move right up, and you can tighten it down just like that. You get a fairly tight little tie down, and you'll be ready tied down for the night, and the tent won't go blowing off on you in the middle of the night. So again, it keeps it a little stronger, a little more sturdy. So that's how you would use the tie downs. So there's a little toggle built in. It's between the mesh door and the outer fly door, and you can use it to attach both of these, to roll both of these back, which is what I've done. So I'll take the first one out and this will roll down, and I can take this one out over here and it will roll down as well, but it keeps the ties pulled back. Now this has 3 zippers. It's got a top zipper. There are ties both on the inside and the outside. And it looks like it's going to close nice and tight so no bugs or critters can get in. It's nice. There's a little bitty hole there, but not much is going to get in there. You've got these doors here. These can be used to close down. It's got a zipper on the inside of them. But you can also put these down, and you could put this out as a sort of a little sheath right here. Maybe put a little vestibule. It's not very big. You're not going to put a big pack in here. I would probably just put this down and zip it closed, or leave it open. Particularly if it's spring or still warm like it is now, I would leave this open so that I could get airflow in there during the night. But then just let it down. You just go over here, just release your toggle, and it comes right down. And it's got a nice zipper on it as well. So there you go, the Nite tent. So we didn't talk much about how the tent is made. It's structured pretty well. The zippers seem really sound. All the seams are double stitched. The fly could be a little bit bigger, but it's serviceable. You can certainly put this up with a bigger tie or with a tarp over it. The nylon seems to be fairly durable nylon. I mean, it is a $40 tent, so it's not going to be the top nylon on the market, but I think it's pretty good for our purpose. If I destroyed it, man, I could buy another one for $40, right? So overall, I think it's a pretty nice little budget tent for camping, for backpacking, to put in your go bag. If you need to have something to stay in on the trail and you have to set it up quick and take it down quick, this thing folds up in about 5 minutes. Other than that, I see nothing wrong with this tent. I certainly enjoy it. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to use it and enjoy, I think, sleeping outside in this tent. So remember what we always say: stay strong, stay prepared, have a blessed day. We'll see you real soon right here on Cowboy Survival.